guys, Lisa, One Happy Place Creations. I did the first video, although I'm just going to kind of do that as the intro video. This is actually the first tutorial on the video, and we're going to be working on the hinge system that we're using. I don't know if you call it a slip-in hinge system. I really could not be honestly know what they called it. I don't remember them actually putting a name to it. However, I will link. It was I believe it was Angel Wings 14100, and she was the one that I believe was the first one to do this hinge system, but I'm not positive. But I believe she did call it hers. So I am happy to give credit where credit is due, and I'm quite excited about this whole thing. So what we're going to do is start off with a piece of paper that is 9.5 inches tall, which is the height of my book. Because of the way I'm doing this, I am going to make it the height of my book. Sometimes people are making it a little smaller, but because of the way I'm doing it, I am making it the height of what the front and back cover and spine is going to be. Remember, this is not the spine. This is our hinge system. Okay, so, and how I came across these measurements is, let me move this over a little bit here. Stick this over here. I'll tell you that in a minute. How I came, I know that I want to have 5 pages in my book, at least. I might do 6, but I want to have at least 5 pages. And I know that I'm doing something different on the front cover that is going to require some room versus the back cover. So I know I need a little bit more space than a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go oops, sorry. So this is definitely the top, which is going to make a difference because my front section is going to be wider than what's going to go towards the back of the book. So I know this is the top of my hinge system. And all of this will make more sense once we get into it and you see what I'm doing here. So actually, put it on the 9.5 side, and I actually like to. I can't stand trying to do this. And you're going to come down 1/4 inch. Now this is Recollections brand 110-pound weight cardstock. I like to make sure that I've got enough. I started to do it with cardboard, with the cardboard that I'd picked out, but it was just too difficult to get the scoring done on it, and it just wasn't working out like I really wanted it to. You can either score these, or you can do just, I'm going to move this out of my way. It's so much easier. And I'm going to move this out of my way for a second. Okay, so we are going to work with, I do have the top and the bottom scored in at 1/4. I have my Tim Holtz ruler. Absolutely love this thing. As you know, these lines are 1/8 inch apart, okay, going across. And each 1/4 inch is darker, and then the 1 inch is even thicker, or the same thickness as the 1 inches going this way. So this is a fabulous tool for when you're doing stuff like this. So I'm going to line up my paper. I am still working within the confines of my tripod, so it is going to be a little difficult. Now this first section, as I said, if I lined it up just like this, let me move this down, my paper's not quite straight. So I'm using my grid lines on this, and then I'm putting my ruler on it. If I lined my ruler up at a 1/2 inch, I know I really think I need to have more room than that. So I'm just moving it to one line further, and that gives me 5/8 of an inch. And I'm just going to make sure that the end of my paper, because I can see it, at the end of my paper is at the 5-inch mark, 5/8 of an inch mark. And I'm just going to run from the top 1/4 inch score mark to the bottom 1/4 inch score mark. And now I want a 1/2 inch, and that is 4 1/8 inch pieces. It gives you a 1/2 inch. So it's going to be right here, which is 1 1/8 inch. Now this is not something you'd be able to do through over the whole thing because the ruler is just not that wide. But I can at least do it for these two and then work out this way. But I can line it up with the existing lines. You could also, the existing line it up with this 1/2 inch mark. So either way, however you want to do it. That seems to be right, and we're just going to run this right like this. So you see I'm making my lines, then I'm going to use my 1/2 inch mark, put it right over this line, have it all line up nice and neat, and make the next one. And again, line it up. And one more time, line it up, and then hopefully, yeah, see I kind of ate a little bit of that last 1/2 inch up. I ate 1/8 of it up because of the way I set the lines. But that's okay. We're not actually straight. I don't know where I lost that at. I think this one. It's really important that you use your pencil in exactly the same way each time when you do this. I'm going to do this again and get my lines, get that 1/8 of an inch back. There we go. And I'm going to put my pencil right in there. And then I'm going to use this and line it right up along the edge of that and get my pencil right in there. So I'm just going to the outside. Sorry I'm having to do this twice, guys, and hopefully I will be able to. Yeah, there, that's where I really lost a good bit, was right there. Okay, and I'm just making sure I go to the correct line now. And lining it up. Okay. And then that should give me still not completely straight, but it is much better. Okay, pencil with eraser right here. I'm just gonna, I don't want to get confused by trying to follow the wrong line. And I think it's very important that we get this right. So that's why I'm, and I am usually very good with a ruler. So that's how easy it is to kind of mess this up. I'm just kind of getting rid of the thicker part of that line. Okay, so let's see where we are here. We've got 5/8. So everything from there is off just a little bit. So probably the best way to do this is here, 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 and that was 5/8, I believe. 2 and 5/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Right here, and then there. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do. This way I am doing a 1/2 inch on this side. So here, and then another 1/2 inch here, another 1/2 inch here, another 1/2 inch here, another 1/2 inch here, and that should leave me 5/8. Yes. Okay. So let's just get a nice big eraser. And I could have just moved this to the other side, but I don't want to do this a third time for you. So we're just going to give this a quick erase and get the most of it erased off of here. Okay. Alright, now we're going to go line to line. And because of, let me do it this way, because I have to move the way my pencil is holding. You want to get that pencil there. And you don't want to change the way you're moving your pencil. So if you start your pencil off like this and then turn it like that, you're moving that point in underneath the ruler, where before it was lining up this way. So I put my pencil mark on, move that. You can put your pencil mark on here and move that, and then run it without moving it, and you get it perfect line to line. So pencil mark, move it. Pencil mark, move it. Line to line without moving your pencil, and you're right on it. Okay, guys? That's the best way I know how to tell somebody how to use a pencil and ruler. I hope I'm staying on camera. Pencil line on the mark, move the ruler to it. Pencil line on the mark, make sure that you're holding your pencil in exactly the same way that you're going to hold it against the ruler, and bring it down. Okay. So now what we're going to do is where these two lines intersect, right in here, is we're going to punch holes. And basically what the holes are doing is the holes are, just mark this across here. The holes are going to give the blade a starting and a stopping point when you're cutting it. Okay, so and two, it helps the paper not rip up past that point. And again, this is where we are talking about not a huge hole. We want about the 1/8 inch size on your, so the smaller hole on your crocodile, and this one is the smaller hole. This is the 1/8, or there's this 3/16. We don't want the 3/16 one. That's just going to be too big. If you have a individual handheld one, or you can use just punchy tool or awl, whatever you have that'll make a hole. That's what you need to use. So I am lining this up and getting my holes punched in here. And we're going to have to do this again once we get the next step done, which is going to add more stability to the piece, which because this book is I'm going to be putting this, excuse me, I've got to get a sip. I'm going to be putting this on Etsy for sale, so I really want to make sure that this is strong and durable. So what I did is I took a piece of material, because you are going to see this top piece here. You are going to see that. And I took my fabric stiffener and a brush and just squeezed it on and brushed it. Now, I didn't put it really on the outside of this. It is mainly so that when we do these cut lines, that this will not fray, because I don't want these little jobbies sticking up in here. Because again, these are your gussets. In between these two lines are your gussets between your pages, because your page is going to go into these slits, and then that's your gusset. So you have a 1/2 inch in between your pages, which is going to give you nice room for embellishments. So this is basically what we've got here, and you're going to have about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, something like that. I think this stuff shrinked it. It shrinked it. I'm just going to... So keep that in mind. It did shrink the material a bit. And so I'm just kind of giving it a little pull and stretch back out again. But one thing with the fabric stiffener, for the most part, most of them are, as long as you don't put it on really, really thick. I just put this on just kind of just thin enough that I knew it was getting through the material, but not thick enough where I, was going to make it really, really stiff, like, like you're trying to hold a flower in shape or something. It's still wet, but I am going to go ahead and move forward on this. Now, I'm going to leave this to the outside. And I'm going to not fold all this over just yet. I just think I'm going to take and glue this down so that I can then go ahead and make the cuts, and then we'll finish up wrapping this around. And it's just going to be kind of a basic thing, just like when we cover the books. So I just want to have enough to get things covered. And as you can see, it's going to cover my holes, which is one thing that I really wanted it to do. Maybe not be able to cover both. Move it up just a little bit more here. Yeah, cover the holes on that side and cover the holes on that side, which will just give the holes a little bit more stability. But again, everything that we're going to be doing to this piece, by the time we're done, it's going to be very stable, but I just thought this would pretty it up a little bit, because you will see the top and the bottom of this and the inside. Never tried it before, so we'll see. If it messes up too much, I'll have to figure something out for that. But okay, I am going to add a little bit of glue to this, and I've got a little fabric glue, but This is just some Aleene's, and I think that's what I'm gonna get it down to the bottom here. I'm gonna put a little bit here, because that is one important area I'd like to make sure I've got it in. And then just gonna, and I don't want this to be really thick. I am gonna roll it. So I don't want a bunch of thickness to this. So I'm gonna flip this around, and again I'm keeping in mind what I'm gonna need to be able to get this over on both sides. So that ought to work for me for that. Slide this down a little bit so I have more here, because I've got a larger side here than here. So that'll work. Okay, and I'm going to get my alright, just get this all pushed down in there. Alright, and this is just a damp baby wipe. Make sure I don't get any glue on my wheel. I hate getting glue on my wheel. Alrighty. Oh. Ah! Okay. So, so that will do that. And I'm going to let this totally dry. And let's see, where am I at? I'm at 22 minutes before I really wrap it. But I am going to cut this. So we're going to, again, match up our lines and our holes. Oh, get it going the right way. I'm going to bring this around, line up. And we're going to have our starting spot. Keep it on the ruler and stop at our stopping point. And you want to make sure that you cut all the way through, and you have. And look how nice that is. Very nice. That's one thing with the material, is you want to really try and make sure that you're going to have that a nice one slit straight cut. So I am pushing on this ruler, I am pushing very, very hard, and I am really making sure that I am keeping right against that ruler so that I have just one line. Good job. All right, so that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to finish this out, let this completely dry, and wrap it, and then I'll come back and we will start on getting the pages done. Because I think before I really continue to cut this, you see what I'm doing is I'm going to let this completely dry. I think it'll just be so much better. Alright guys, thank you so much. I am so excited to get started on this album, and I will hopefully keep these things coming pretty quickly, and so that you can, not too quickly, so you can work along with me. But find your happy place and start creating, you know, maybe join me in this. Look through your stash. Stick with what you got. I mean, if you just absolutely don't have something and you just have to have it, well, go and buy it. But the whole thing is use what's in your room. So I'm sure you can find stuff. You bought it one time, you thought it was beautiful. Pull it out, because it probably still is beautiful. All right, guys. Bye.